Hello, this is Michel Leviathan Sorbet and you're watching a new episode on the Wojennik TV YouTube channel. Snowdale design attacks once again. Some time ago I have showed you two reviews of Dawn of Peacemakers, first of all of the standard cooperative version of this game and then of the skirmish mode of this title. I love this game, I strongly recommend you check it, but today another game from Snowdale Design and once again a title which was published thanks to a successful Kickstarter campaign. This game is Dale of Merchants Collection. So this is a reimplementation of the Dale of Merchants franchise because Snowdale Design already published two games in this franchise, Dale of Merchants and Dale of Merchants 2. And here we have Dale of Merchants Collection. So the setting will be pretty much the same. We will revisit the mythical world of Dimmeria, where some animal folk managed to develop a society resembling to the one that humans created on Earth. Those animal folk are rivals one to another because they eagerly try to be the most prolific society, race or animal folk among the others when it comes to the technological development. And once every few years, those animal folk gather in order to show their inventions, in order to show their technological novelties to the rivals and to choose or to elect the supreme technological power. So this is an interesting setting, this is an interesting world created by Sami Laxo and by other guys from Snowdale Design. The game is meant to be played by 2 to 4 players. It's a standalone game, which means that you absolutely do not have to possess Dale of Merchants all day or Dale of Merchants 2 to play it. The time of play is extremely pleasant because it should be from 30 to 60 minutes, and finally it is meant to be played by players 10 years old or higher. We will have a lot of text because on the elements of Dale of Merchants Collection because this is a deck building game, so the knowledge of English is strongly recommended. How the elements of this game look like? Let's check it out right now. Here is the box of Dale of Merchants Collection, the greatest exhibition in the world. As you can see, the box cover full of fantastic art with some animal folk represented because this game, as I mentioned earlier, is in the same franchise. Dale of Merchants is full of animal folk. Here a little annotation, a competitive deck building game for 2 to 4 players, so if anyone sees this box, he will not only see the title of the game, but also an information about what type of game it is and how many players will be able to play it. On the box, on the other side of the box, we have a description. First of all, we have a description of the setting. Secondly, a description of the basic mechanisms of the game, a quick glance at some of the cards, at the content, and also a matrix where we can see that the game is for players of ages 10 and up. It's for 2 to 4 players and the time of play is 20 to 60 minutes, so it can be a very short game. And information about the designing company Snowdale Design, as I mentioned earlier. A nice addition is also information what type of card sleeves can be used to protect the cards which are in this box. Now, how those cards look like, let's take a look. So let's open the box. This is not the first game of Snowdale Design which I will be presenting on our YouTube channel because we already had another design of this company. We had the Dawn of Peacemakers, which was a spin-off of the animal folk universe because it's not quite set in the same world, but we also have some animal folk inside, so that's a common thing. Now let's open the box of Dale of Merchants Collection. First of all, we see that we receive some counters which are very sturdy. Now we also have a discus, which will be used a clock, which will be used maybe to track time or some other information. As you can see, those counters are double-sided, and here we also have another element of the clock. Then we have a little information from Snowdale Design. Do you want more Dale of Merchants? Of course we want more Dale of Merchants, and here we have small information how to acquire it. And here also a publicity of Dawn of Peacemakers, which I already mentioned during this unboxing. Then we have two additional documents. The first one is the rule book. As you can see, a rule book in color, a rule book on a high quality paper. It's a rule book which reminds me of the rule book of the Dawn of Peacemakers. So the rule book of the Dawn of Peacemakers was really well written, and I believe this will be the same case. A description of the actions of the different parts of the turn. Here we have also a description of the character cards and some additional information, some keywords explanation and credits at the end of this rulebook. Here you can see which persons playtested and gave some feedback to the game, who was responsible for proofreading, etc, etc. The second document is an Animal Folk compendium, and here you will find information concerning different animal folk which are present in the game. So here also you have the explanation of some additional capabilities of each of those animal folk, and also a nice addition, an explanation of the keywords which will be used in the game. Now, the other elements include a small board, as you can see, a small tile. First of all, a dark side one, which will be used during, as I believe, the night of the exhibition, and also the day turns of the exhibition. Here you have the same space, but during daytime, with some animal folk traveling through those stands. We received two dice. As you can see, both of them will be green, but one will be light green, the second one will be dark green with some symbols on those dice. We receive, of course, some cards. Here we have, for instance, Sakar, the Scarlet Macaw Elite Broker. So we have also some macaws here in this game, as it was the case in the Dawn of Peacemakers. So those, as I believe, will be the characters which will be used in the game. Let's take a closer look at them. The first one is, as you can see, Sakar. Then you have some additional ones: Kaenea, Tahlen, Yuan and Yang, etc, etc. Each of those characters has a special capability, as I can see, and also a nice description, which will be something interesting to read, because it will really increase the setting. It will appeal to players who like knowing more about the universe, about the world in which a game takes place. A huge amount of characters, as you can see, each with a fantastic artwork also, and some additional cards which will be used during gameplay. So matrix cards, curiosity corner, etc, etc. Maybe they will be used to create the exhibition spaces during gameplay. But this is not all. We receive additional cards. Here are some smaller cards, as you can see, with a different artwork on the back side. And how do they look? Let's take a brief look at them. Here they are. So for instance, Snappy Scarlet Macos, then Dealing Giant Pandas, so those will be the animal folk present in the game. As you can see, we also can find a Sharing Shot, Beaked Echidnas, etc, etc. All of them with fantastic artwork, which is really a great thing in each of Snowdale Design products. As you can see, also an empty card where we can create our own animal folk if we wish to do so. And we have some additional cards of a smaller size. As you can see, some false alarms or shameless rummage. So those cards with different card backs will be used during gameplay. I won't be opening all of them now because I have already opened some of them. Those cards, as you can see, also have a fantastic artwork. They have also a color band with some symbols, with some numbers, and a capability. If I were to judge the thickness of those cards, I would say that those cards are pretty thick. They are not very sturdy, so I hope they will not get used very quickly. The other ones are more sturdy, so that's a good information, but it's not also the highest quality as I believe, so we will have to carefully use them. Maybe some sleeves will be useful. And that's it when it comes to the components enclosed in this box. As you can see, there is some empty space, but this was meant to be designed in such a way because this box is meant also to store elements from the other games in the Dale of Merchants series. So it's not an empty box just to be an empty box. It's a box in which we have some additional storage place in order to keep all of our Dale of Merchants goods in one place. Now let's pass on to a short conclusion. So here are all the elements enclosed in this rather big box. At first glance you might wonder why so much space in it, but as I already mentioned, this is a storage solution for every Dale of Merchants fan. If you already have Dale of Merchants 1, Dale of Merchants 2, here you go. You can just use this big box and store everything in one place. Nice idea, I love it. Although I do not possess the first or second edition of Dale of Merchants, but who knows, if Dale of Merchants collection really appeals to me, if I find this game sufficiently good, I will consider buying both previous titles in this series. I like the artwork, the same reason why I also love the Dawn of Peacemakers. I love also the idea of playing a deck building game because I really like deck building games. I love Race for the Galaxy, I like Dominion, so there are many titles which I really like using these mechanics. I know that Sami Laxo and Snowdale Design are often using new mechanisms, so they are not just using what other designers already created. They really try to be innovative in their designs, so I'm really excited to see how this system works and if it is sufficiently interesting to incite other players to jump into this Dale of Merchants franchise. So I will pass on to the lecture of the rulebook and then my first game. A future review, of course, will follow, but this will happen only in some time. This was an unboxing of Dale of Merchants Collection, a game published by Snowdale Design. I wish you a fantastic day. Take a look at our other materials. I wish you will revisit our YouTube channel in some time. Goodbye.